building.
Yep, the whole.
You know, it's not that I can't focus because I have ADD.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I can't focus because of that. You know, no, maybe I can't focus because I really don't know where my mother has been for the last week. Or maybe I don't know what's going to happen when I walk in my door. Or maybe I don't know if my sisters are going to be able to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the things that's on my mind, and I really can't focus on this math problem that you want to put up there.
Right.
Because that's not my problem right now.
Right. Yep.
So we have these teachers that are in these schools, and the students can't relate to them, and they can't relate to the students, and the teachers, they become overwhelmed. They become impatient. They start to change. Their character changes because they feel like these students don't care. They don't care. And that's not the case. But they would never know because they're not from my community.
Yes.
Right.
They're not going through what I have to go through.
Right.
So now I can't get my education.
Yep.
So I can't go get a job somewhere. So now where does that leave me? I'm a woman. Am I supposed to go sell my behind? What am I supposed to do?
You just ran down a whole lot of what I seen in high school. Seriously, everything you said, I could relate to it because I seen it within my fellow classmates. Everybody had that story, and like you said, teachers were in the class that could not relate to them.
That's right.
And they would try to give some type of positive insight on something, but it came to the point where one of the girls, I'll never forget, my junior year, she said, please stop trying to, put a positive spin on my negative. Like, you don't live with me.
Right.
You don't know nothing of what I go through. You go home to your suburban house with your husband and your kids. Y'all sit down, you have dinner. And she said, you know who I go home to? Nobody. She said, I don't know where my mother is. I don't know where my father is. I take care of my little brother. And she was like, I have a job, but managing school and a job and taking care of my brother. She said, that's not my responsibility.
Right.
So she was like, stop telling me, trying to put a positive spin on my negative life. You don't know nothing about what I go through.
Right. Unless you're gonna actually give me a solution, like solve this problem for me, help me out.
And then also within our community, I was debating with someone about this too, because he was saying he's a person of color, how people of color, we don't want to learn when we go to school. We go there and we make trouble. And I was like, I don't know what kind of neighborhood you grew up in, but that's a different story.
Right.
So I was like, how can you say we don't want to learn when we come to school? Our books are torn. You can't read the words that's in the books. You have a teacher that repeat the same thing that you learned 4 or 5 years ago, telling you lies about your history and stuff like that. And I'm like, you can't say we don't want to learn. We want to learn, but with the resources that we have, it's limited.
Right.
So it's so much of a backstory to everything. And I hope, with this show, people listened, and when it comes time to try and make change, they understand what to look for so that we can start changing things. And for leaders who are in the communities, I hope they reach out to you so you could come and talk to kids and everything, and sit down and, talk to people to try and bring some type of change, because I know it's not easy being individuals by yourself, and even with the organization, you have to have people behind you.
Yes.
And like you said, we'll back Michael Jordan with sneakers, but when it comes to something productive, where are the people?
That's right. That's right.
So,
and my thing, I definitely would like to say one of the things that I definitely understand that Glenn Martin, which is the formal president of this organization, one of the things that he always say was the one closest to the problem is closest to the solution.
That's right.
And we are closest to the problem, and we are the solution. You know what I mean? And this is the solution is educating our peoples, educating the people on mass incarceration, and understanding like what our organization is doing. One of the things I want to state was, you see this shirt, it says Close Rikers Island, right? On the bottom of it, it says Build Communities. And that's where we at. Where we at with the Build Community apart. That part right there is a very, very valuable part. Understanding that we took a bold demand, right? If we said we was gonna close Rikers Island 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, people would have laughed at us. People would have laughed at us. We'll close Rikers Island, get out of here. So now two years later, it's 2018. We got the mayor, the governor. This is like they acting like this is their project now. Everybody's speaking
That's
about.
what always
Yeah,
happens.
right. I could have like the hand out this shirt 2 years ago was like, what is that shirt? Now it was like, yo, let me get a shirt. Yo, let me get one of those shirts. So what I'm saying is that we took a bold demand on closing Rikers Island to the point where, like I said, it's in mayors, elected officials, is in their mouth now. We are taking a bold demand now with the money. So when we say build communities, we following the money. The money that took, for instance, it take Rikers Island to transport people from Rikers Island to the city jail. Rikers Island to the city courts. It costs $35 million a year. That's just the transportation. When Rikers Island is closed, we want the community to scream about that $35 million. That's just 35 million. That's just on transportation. We arguing about that. We making a bold demand on the money because the system taught my community. The system, mass incarceration, taught my community. So we making a bold demand, and our bold demand is, listen, we want this money put that money back into our community. So it's not only about closing jails and no, it's about building our communities. The same community that the system corrupted. Remember I was telling you guys about the $1 million blocks? Yeah, $1 million blocks. So now here it is, it's kids coming home back to these $1 million blocks. Now, and they coming home to nothing.
No resources.
No resources, no nothing. No, we not having that. We making a bold demand, and this is why we here today. We making a bold demand on closing Rikers Island, and we doing that. And we doing that. And 10 years is definitely too long.
Right.
But now we at the part now we at the part where we trying to build communities. And that's what we have, Jess.
So with the build communities, we hold build community assemblies in all 5 boroughs where you guys can come out and voice your opinion. You can be heard. You can say what it is that you want in your community. Because I'm from Staten Island, I know what I need in my community, but I can't tell you what the Bronx needs, or I can't tell you what Brooklyn needs or Queens needs, because my needs is not your needs.
That's right.
So you guys need to come out to these assemblies, and you need to get your voice heard. Let us know. Do you need recreational centers? Do you need clinics? Like, what is it that you need that's going to make your community better, that's going to make it safer, that's going to make it more productive, that's going to make it more promising and successful? And then there's always town halls. Every community, there's town halls. You go to those town halls and you speak up. Like, we're living in a day and age where people just use their phones and record things, but they don't say anything.
Right.
They don't say anything. We need people to actually speak up. You can't talk amongst yourselves and complain about all the things that's wrong, but you didn't go out and vote.
Right. Yeah.
You can't say, oh man, Donald Trump, this, that, and the third, but you didn't vote. Now, if you voted, then by all means, you have all the right to say something. But if you haven't gotten your behind out there to vote, and even at a local level, because it's the local level that really affects us. It's the local level. You go out and you vote for your attorney generals who's over the DAs. You will vote for your mayor who's over those county jails. You vote for your governor who's over the legislative part of that. You go out there and you vote for that. You even vote for judges. Y'all don't even realize that. You have to go out there and you have to really, really put your 2 cents in. And yes, there's a lot of people who are like, my vote don't count. I voted for Hillary. I didn't vote for Donald. But guess what? Not enough people voted. And I mean, I personally wouldn't have voted for Hillary neither, because that's just another story. But you want to make sure
if you
that you're
say
heard.
You want change, you have to go out there.
You have to go out there and do it. You can't just sit in the background.
My thing is.
We out of time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We out of time.
Yes. For real.
We still got the vote part in.
Can I close out? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This was such a great conversation. I greatly appreciate you coming here, and I want you to come back if you would be willing to come back.
Definitely.
And I definitely want to get even more into this topic because it's very important, especially with the voting.
Yes.
Right.
Because we do have the power to make changes, but people, refuse to actually get up and believe that we have that power.
That's
and
right.
to go out and do it. But I definitely want you to come back and to talk some more with me. And I want you to give out information of how people could come out to the assembly that she was mentioning, so they could voice and talk about the things in their community and what they want to change.
So you can go on social media, Just Leadership USA, Close Rikers Campaign, Free New York. We're located at
119th Lexington Avenue. 119th and Lexington Avenue is in Harlem. What else?
And the address is 1900 Lexington Avenue.
1900 Lexington Avenue.
Okay.
We have membership meetings the first Thursday of each month. We have action nights also. But just go on the site, look for Just Leadership USA, or stop by, or just look for our flyers out there, look for our T-shirts, and just ask some questions. You could come in, you could sit in our meetings. You can join the team. Like, we definitely need every single body.
Without the peoples, we can't do this, y'all. So we need the people's input. We need the people to get involved. Don't wait till something happens to start doing something. Do something now.
Yep.
And for those of y'all that feel as if, why should we do this? The reason we should do this is because nearly 70% are legally innocent that are sitting behind those walls.
70%, y'all.
70%.
Of our peoples.
And this is on any given day. All right? And it affects everybody. Especially if you don't know your rights. A person, for all you guys who are out there smoking marijuana,
Who think that is actually legal,
who
but
thinks
it's
that
a
it's
trap.
legal, but it's a trap, just know that yes, you can get a summons.
That's right.
And you can get a bench warrant.
Yes.
And you can get another summons.
And go to jail.
No, they cannot process you unless you already have a felony or on probation or parole. They cannot throw you through the whole entire system, but you can still
Be a victim.
be
of
accounted for it. So the same way they hold us accountable for things, we need to make sure that we hold our politicians accountable for things.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So Bill de Blasio needs to be held accountable. Cuomo needs to be held accountable. And I say make sure that you check this out, because Cynthia Nixon is running for governor at this point, and Jumaane Williams is running for lieutenant governor. I don't know if anybody knows, but Cynthia Nixon was part of Sex of the City. Jumaane Williams is a brother, and they have joined the fight of ending mass incarceration. They have joined the fight of having equal education for all people, and they have joined the fight for ending bail.
That's right.
So I want everybody to go on their website that they mentioned, and I want you to read up on it, and I want everyone to get behind Tamika and Harvey so we can make changes to our
system.
Yes. Yes, so I greatly appreciate you guys coming here.
Thank
And
you.
again, I want you to come back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks for having us.
No,
And
thank
thanks
you
for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We jamming? Hell yeah, we jamming. In the mix.